Hey, what's going on, you guys? I've got another little maintenance video for you guys. If you saw my last video, you probably saw how I crashed trying to clear the gap over on Nerf Herder. Popped my tire, so I've got a brand new tire with the Conti Grip Total again for the front. So now the Yeti will have a full set of Continental tires on there. Also, I've had a really annoying jiggle. Something is loose on that bike for a while, so finally decided to get myself a brand new headset and some metal washers to hopefully take care of that. Right now it has carbon washers, and the crown race is a little bit worn out, so hopefully this will take care of it. So let's do it. It is mosquito season here in Southern California, so I'm excited to show you guys my favorite toy, like in the last several years. It's called the Bug Assault. It's basically a salt shotgun for flies and for mosquitoes. So if they come at me, I'm gonna go hunting. Can you hear that? That's my headset. No more. The front tire is all popped. So this is what I was talking about. You see how the crown race, the rubber seal is just kind of compromised. So yeah, the old bearings are still in pretty good shape. Just clean them up and it'll be a good backup. See the top dust cover, I would need to get that too. This is falling apart. Oh, and there's like a little piece of metal right here too. So that would need to be replaced as well. The tension ring looks good. Little washer. That looks good. So you let it land. Bam! That's 3 down. This is the coolest thing. You just put salt up here and you just cock it. A little bit of salt goes into the chamber and then a burst of air shoots out the salt like a buckshot and it just takes them out. It's the best. So now to remove the crown race. It looks like this is all one piece now. This is kind of the newer version of this headset. Looks like this is all an integrated piece. Let's make sure this fits. Well, it fits, but it's definitely narrower than the other top cap. Here's the old one, here's the new one. So this kind of goes as wide as the frame. This one does not. I wonder if all of this stuff can come out and fit into this. So I think I can make this work. I've taken kind of all the guts out except for the blue rubber seal that you see in there. And I've put them onto the old top. And I'm using, because it's really hard to take this seal off of here, because I could use like a little pick or something, but I don't want to risk damaging it. The other seal still was in good condition, so I was able to kind of assemble this with the other seal in there. I can tell that this is a better design because it has like a little track just for that seal, where this seal, it just kind of sits. I don't want to take it apart because I kind of a pain in the butt to put it together, but it kind of, before you put in the tension ring and the dust cover, you put in that rubber seal. It sits in a little like indented well, and then you just put all these things on top, and that's what's essentially keeping it from coming out this way towards the camera, because these things are on top. Whereas this design, it's got its own little track that it sits in. So, but I kind of like the idea of this sitting flush with the frame instead of this, where there's kind of all this space around it, like this right here. I don't like how that looks. So we're gonna go with this. If I notice any kind of negative effect, then I'll swap it back out. But all right, so time to put the crown race on. If you've seen my other videos, you know there's kind of a little hack I like to do if you don't have the right tool to put this on, where you essentially just put your entire stack on and put it on the bike, and then start to tighten everything down with the top bolt. And then as you do that, everything starts to clamp down and it forces your crown race down onto the base of the fork. What I'm gonna do is, since I've got this old set of bearings, I'm gonna use those to kind of clamp everything down, just so that, you know, if because you're putting pressure on them, so I'd rather those get, you know, put under pressure than my new ones. So once I do that and the crown race is in place, I'll disassemble everything, and then I'll put the new ones on, grease everything up, and tighten it back down for real. So it should work like a charm. This is not going in as easy as I thought. I just want to make sure that the bottom crown race is actually 1.5 inches. That's the right size for this bike. I'm also going to grease the base of the head tube just to make it go in a little bit easier. All right, this is still not working. I thought that perhaps I had figured it out, but it's still getting to a point where it's just so hard to tighten, and I feel like I'm just putting way too much pressure. I think ultimately, you know, this is a carbon frame and it's just not as strong as like an aluminum frame. So that might be another problem, and if not, like, I'm putting an incredible amount of pressure on it. So I'm gonna scrap it. I'm going to just take it to a mechanic so that they can put the crown race on, and then I'll finish up the job once it's on there. Okay, so in the meantime, I'm going to just do the tire, replace the tire. It's not supposed to be this hard just to get one side on. What the heck am I doing wrong? Can't wait to do the other side. That was much easier than the first side. I don't know why that gave me so much trouble. Holy crap. Oh no, I just broke this stem. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Is this where the threaded part goes? Probably, most likely. Yep. This is not going well. It's not my day. I think I have another stem, but now I gotta take the tire back off and go through that whole thing all over again. Okay, I do have some extra valves. I'm determined to get at least this tire done today. I've got one of these ones, but then just wanted to show you guys kind of a cool tip I learned somewhere some time ago. If you guys have old inner tubes that are no longer good, just cut out the Schrader valve or the Presta, I can't remember which is which, but cut out the valve and just keep it. And then this acts as a valve that you can use. You just put it in, and then this rubber holds it in on the inside, and then you just tighten it down with the little screw from the other side of the rim. And I've done this before and they work. I forgot that I had an extra one, so I'm gonna try this one out and see how it does. This little nut off, and you insert it. I kind of overcompensated for how much rubber you need all the way around. If I put this whole thing in there, this thing is gonna, these sides are gonna sit right up against the side walls of the rim, and it's gonna be hard for the tire to then seat the bead in there. So I gotta cut this a little bit closer to the hole. Doesn't have to be perfect, something like that. I want to make sure this is really tight so that you're creating a good seal on the inside. Get my gloves on. All right, let's get the sealant in there and seat the bead, and then we'll be done, finally. Okay, I don't want to make the same mistake again, so this time I'm just gonna pour this into here. And then suck it out. Stuff's like really thick. Holy crap. I'm not a fan of the Marin tubeless tire sealant. Looks like we're gonna go to the regular stuff. There we go. This is so much smoother. I wonder if that other stuff is just old. I think what's happening is because the valve is the one that I took off of an old rim, the hole on the other end is really, really small, and it's just getting clogged with all of the the substrate that's in the sealant. So I'm sure I got some in there. Most of it got squirted back out. But I need to finish this. I'm losing daylight. Okay, I'm like an expert now. Just kidding. Don't do what I do. Just learn from my mistakes. I have to cut that down even more. I thought this would be enough, but it's so wide that the bead of the tire is sitting on top of it rather than being able to kind of go around it on both sides to be able to seal. So I'm gonna cut it and I'm gonna put this thing together a third time. All right, that's what I ended up with. I don't know if you can see that very well. Let's try it. It is almost nighttime. It's on there. The bead is seated. Now we'll just have to see if it holds air overnight. This was ridiculous. Hey guys, okay, I'm back. And this is the next day, and I found a really good solution to the crown race thing, and I wanted to show you guys. I had heard and seen several videos about using PVC pipe to get your crown race on there, and that's what I used, and it worked like a charm. This is a 1.5 inch PVC pipe that I just picked up at Ace Hardware, which is 1.5 inches is the diameter of the bottom of your fork. So you put your crown race on there, and then you put this on top. And most people I've seen, once you have this on here, then they tap the top of this to kind of slam it down. But if you're holding this in the air and trying to hit it, you know, you don't have the best leverage that way. And you don't want to put the fork directly on the ground because you don't want to mess anything up on the lowers as you're hitting it. So just take your pipe, put it on the ground upside down, put your crown race on your fork, and then just insert the fork this way, and then lift it up and give it a nice slam down. And once was all it took for me, and then the crown race is nice and set on your fork, and you're ready to go. So that is all it took. The tire is still holding pressure, so it looks like that's good to go. You'll notice I didn't like tighten the brake caliper on there when I put it on there. I just kind of want to put it in place, get the wheel up there, and then before I tighten it down, I make sure that both of the bolts are actually pretty loose. That way there's like some movement in the caliper back and forth, side to side. And then I will come up here and I'll clamp down on the brake and let the brake pressure kind of align the caliper so that it's centered correctly. And then while holding the brake, I will tighten both of the bolts. And usually that helps also, like if you have squeaky brakes and you notice that one pad is rubbing up against your rotor more than the other, it's a good way to try to eliminate that, like a quick fix, and it might take care of it for you. So you see how there's a little bit of play. And then let go, and you should see pretty even spacing on either side without them rubbing. So all I have left to do now is just to make sure that the bars are aligned with my tire, clamp everything down according to spec, and then it's done. This one was a hard one. It's kind of what you run into when you don't have the right tools for things. But we were able to get it done. So I don't know if you like to work on your bikes or not. I don't like to do it, but I do it to force myself to learn how to work on my bikes so that I can take care of things, you know, in an emergency, or just save a little bit of money also, and a trip to the local bike shop. But there it was. Now I've got New tire on the front end. That thing is so good. Look at that grip. New headset now on the bike, and there's no more play in there. It's super tight, so that's what we were going for. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.